Hubby bubby baby, time to get in the podcast. Time to record the podcast.
No.
What did you say to me?
No, I have plans.
No, sir. No, sir. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Sit down. Sit down. Grab the mic. 3, 2, 2. Very good. Oh, I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun. So, with Hallie. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
My name's Hallie.
I'm Andy.
This is my podcast. And this is my husband. This is my hubby for life. He got off the hook this week by...
Welcome to Yes and, the podcast. And I'm off the hook from wearing the same clothes. This is a whole bit we had planned because of a video that did pretty well on TikTok where we're wearing matching outfits.
Yeah.
And she was gonna say...
I was planning on saying, you're off the hook for this episode to not match with me, to not wear the same clothes.
But I wore a hoodie just to be safe.
That video went mega viral this week. We're internet stars.
I know, I can't believe it.
A husband and wife must always wear the same clothes. A husband and wife must always wear the same clothes. A husband and wife must always wear the same.
How it all started was right after we were married. We were on our honeymoon in Costa Rica, and we had a similar color shirt on or something. We were both looking in the mirror, and Andy was like, a husband and wife must always wear the same clothes.
Like a Mother Goose sort of nursery rhyme. Yeah, and it was really, really
It was really funny. It was like the funniest thing we had ever heard anyone say. And so we really ran with it, and we coincidentally do have the exact same winter coat, Aritzia Super Puff.
Yeah, we really ran with it by making a video 8 months later.
But we ran with it for the last 8 months. We say it every single day, just organically. It's not even really a joke anymore. We just say it a part of our kind of...
Yeah, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. If you're married, this is important to know because they don't talk about this. Everyone's like, something new, something blue, all that stuff like marriage advice. You must always wear the same clothes.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about that because it's just a given. And I think it's just the new fashion.
Doesn't really...
I mean, it's just so liberal these days. People aren't wearing the same clothes like they used to.
Yeah.
And I think that's awful.
Sickening. Oh, what else happened this week? I went to a big audition. I am an actor. I've been a professional actor for over 10 years now.
It's important that no one ever lose sight of that.
Yeah, and yet I still I haven't quite nailed the stage fright thing. And the audition anxiety thing. Because I almost never go to auditions because I'm just lazy and don't really have it in me.
I don't think it's even a frequency thing you've had that issue since you were a kid.
Yeah, obviously.
And it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the feeling of being trapped. And anyways, I go to this audition. It was for a very specific kind of role. It's 18 plus to play 10 years old. And I was I'm going to be the only one there. Apparently there's a lot of girls in New York City who think they're 18 plus to play 10, which I would say is questionable. But I showed up, and there was a handful. But it wasn't crazy. I was seen pretty much right away. And it's this was just an open audition. There was no stakes attached to it. I didn't know these people. They didn't know me. There was nothing. It wasn't some sort of callback or anything. I literally had to go in and do a 1-minute monologue. And I get lined up and stuff, and I was feeling fine. I was no stakes, whatever. And then while I was standing in this line, there was 10 people in front of me. I was working myself up into this insanity, just spiraling, gonna die. It felt like I was gonna die. And then I go in, and usually, like, when I'm feeling this kind of anxiety around performance, when I start doing it, I relax. But in this case, I didn't. And I was in there. I was just like, I've been doing this monologue since, like, freshman year of college, as, like, we all do. And I start doing it. It was just, like, muscle memory just, like, pouring out of my mouth. I don't even know what I was doing. And, like, I was seeing stars. I was seeing stars. My knees felt like they were crumbling beneath me. I, like, felt like I was gonna legitimately pass out after doing this 1-minute monologue for this woman who's barely looking at me and doesn't know who I am. And, like, I was seeing flashes of light. And then I left, and I saw a friend in the hallway, and I was like, she started talking to me, and then I was like, hold on, you need to give me a second. You need to give me a second. I was, like, leaning up against the wall, like.
And she was probably like, it must have gone really well.
She was like, oh, girl, relax. Do you, like, never go to these? I'm like, shall we dive in?
I want to dive in, yes.
Let's dive in. You want to read this one?
For context, my class decided it would be fun to sign up for dance lessons as a group. So, like, class, like a whole high school class all signed up for dance lessons as a group. It's kind of a tradition. So maybe it wasn't just like an impulse decision to be fun, but something you guys like had to do every year. And you have to be signed up in pairs. So of course I went with my, at the time, best friend.
Oof.
Now the drama. If you can't come to a lesson, the partner has to get someone else to dance with. One time, I couldn't go to a lesson because I had wisdom teeth surgery, and I let her know 3 days ahead of the lesson, which I think is enough time to find someone.
Totally enough time.
I mean, it's enough time for some people. And she replied with, okay. Wretched, you're in trouble. Don't get your wisdom teeth out. There's dance class. Later, I found out that the pain wasn't even that bad, and I could come. So I messaged her that if she didn't find someone yet, I could still go, which she left me undelivered. I tried spam texting her and calling her, and she didn't pick up or read the messages. In school, she decided to completely ignore me when I talked to her, which would be fine, but we sit next to each other, and it's really not fine when we need to do worksheets in pairs. Worst thing is that she is the weird girl in my class. And I was her only friend. High horse much. So I thought it's weird for her to get rid of her only friend. Hallie, please let me know if I'm in the wrong. And if it's worth it trying to be friends with her again. She was kind of annoying at times, and she can't communicate on a deep level. Okay, so that ended part of the end.
Her. Why did you pick her as your partner?
You hate this girl, and she's weird, and she probably can't even dance.
So my question is, your entire class signed up for these dance lessons, and you were like, well, I'm not going to dance with my real friends. I'm going to, like, take it upon me to, like, be partners with the weird girl. Is that what you're telling me?
We can pick apart what the weird girl does, too, but I want to address you first. As this went, it felt like you were like, wait, this makes me seem like I'm not cool. And then you wrote later, she's the weird girl, I'm her only friend. Honestly, it was super cool of me to be friends with her in the first place. I took pity upon her, and she probably shouldn't even be ghosting me like this because I just had my wisdom teeth out, and that was obviously a super painful, invasive surgery that she should have more sympathy for.
Yeah.
So, you know, check yourself a little bit.
I feel like...
If you think she's the weird girl and that, like, honestly, it's a bad career move for her to not be friends with you, let's maybe check the ego at the door.
It sounds like you really don't want to be friends with her, though. Like, she's kind of annoying and she can't communicate on a deep level. So, a time I was friends with the weird girl. She wasn't in my class, but we had made friends, and then she went to this church that I didn't really, like, grow up going to, like, a Christian church or anything. I was, like, a Unitarian Universalist, like, hippy-dippy church. Like, I've never read the Bible or anything. And so anyways, this church youth group was going on a trip to Kalahari, like the best place on earth. The best place on earth. And she invited me because at her school, she didn't have any friends. And I was like, well, I'm like really nice and cool, so I guess I'll hang out with her. It was so weird and mean girl and bully of me, honestly, because I feel like the only reason I was hanging out with her was to make myself feel better about myself. So anyways, we had like the day in the water park, and then that night they had like a youth group meeting in one of the conference rooms. And it was like hours long. It was like a 4-hour long ordeal. And the youth group leaders asked me where my Bible was. And I was like, I don't have a Bible. Like, I didn't bring a Bible. Like, I don't own a Bible. The weird girl told the youth group leaders that I was a witch because she had come to my birthday party out of pity. I invited her out of pity, and she came to my birthday party, and we did light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Which is to be fair, that is witchcraft.
Sure.
So just to be fair. And then you also like didn't have a Bible, so it's kind of like smoking gun.
Yeah. So she was so freaked out by that, told her youth group leaders that I was a witch, and they were like looking for a Bible for me. And anyways, I just really and then I got bullied by like the popular girls, and I just really had it coming for me because I was friends with this girl out of pity to make myself feel better about myself. So that's all I have to say.
Oh yeah, they saw Goody Proctor with the devil. Do people still do light as a feather, stiff as a board? Do people still play like games like that?
I feel like, I mean, we were doing that my senior year of college. Like, I remember specifically at the hair cast party, which we
cast party.
We were all convinced, like, I mean, being in hair is like something special, like something you'll never understand. Being in the tribe of hair is something really special. And we had this cast was like so close, and we had this just like electric like connection with each other, with everybody. And then so we had all these like big hopes like going into the hair opening night cast party. And then we all show up because I think everyone thought it was gonna like turn into an orgy.
Like in hair, everyone.
Like in hair. And then we were all like, wait, this is lame. And it's just like in Allie, Courtney, and Grant's mobile home, and we were all just sitting around kind of like, so what do we do?
Some people like ate a mushroom and were like,
yeah.
So everybody's like, oh sweet, I'm going to an orgy, and they expect the orgy to be like going on already, and they can just like jump in, but nobody's actually gonna like take the initiative.
Yeah, it was really just a bunch of BFAs like who were in a production of Hair, like.
Yeah, and they were all tired.
But to really like spruce up the party, to like just do something fun, we were like, let's do light as a feather, stiff as a board. And we did
which is how most orgies do start.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. This one's interesting because we were kind of talking about this morning. They say, I've had a boyfriend for 3-ish years. He's 25 and I am 27. We don't see eye to eye financially as I am hyper ambitious and he has to be pushed to have a little ambition. I really love him. He treats me like gold, but I fear he will never change, or he will take longer than I would like to. What do you think I should do? This is so interesting to me because I feel like as I've gotten older, everybody who is like dating like in their late 20s, early 30s, it's like all like what you can benefit from the person.
Even like anybody in their 20s.
Anyone in their 20s.
It's about it's like a what do you get question. It's really transactional.
Super transactional. Like, oh, they're so nice and so funny and so sweet and I love spending time with them, but they don't have a 6-figure job.
But it's the everybody is laying out the perks. Like, here is the money you'll get if you date me. Here's the social status dating me will grant you. I can buy you fine pearls and jewels. I can take you on exotic trips.
Yeah.
I don't know. But maybe it's always been like that. I mean, money is an attractive thing about people.
I get it. I mean, this person is also saying about ambition. I mean, I think that is something too. Like,
yeah,
if you're with somebody who is like not matching your ambition, it can probably feel like they're dragging you down a little bit.
And I think you've been with him for 3-ish years, so he's 25, you're 27. So you started dating him
like when you were in college.
When you were in college, yeah. I mean, it doesn't say in there anywhere that you're a girl, so maybe I'm wrong to assume that. But men's brains aren't done developing until they're 26.
Yeah, so girl, you started dating him before he was ready.
You're dating a boy.
You're dating a boy.
And you've been ready for 3-ish years.
Oh, she's older. I read that opposite.
She's
interesting.
Older.
Interesting.
Which shouldn't be interesting, but like it's kind of been like a studied fact that like women's brains develop faster.
Yeah.
Which is probably why there tends to be, like, the guys tend to be at least, like, a year or two older.
Mm-hmm. Just like us.
Just like us. I'm 2 years older.
Yeah.
Um,
So when we started dating, you really had the mind of...
I had the mind of probably an 8 or
age.
9-year-old. Yeah.
You had the mind of an 8 or 9-year-old.
I had the mind of, like, an 8 or 9-year-old, like lesser mammal. What do I think? What do we think you should do? I mean, if you're not attracted to him, then you should.
I would say because you've been together for so long, it's definitely worth giving him more of a chance and pushing him, figuring out why he's lacking ambition. You know, help him. Maybe he's lacking ambition because he doesn't really have any goals. Finding those goals, finding, like, if he has, like, more going on that beyond just, like, his career or whatever, like, that he thinks he needs to work through, like, helping him work through those things might be able to actually fix that ambition.
Yeah,
problem.
I mean, because we both have had, like, real candid struggles where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to leave the apartment.
Yeah.
I don't even want to put on a shirt, you know, like,
Yeah.
just.
And luckily, they never line up. Luckily, we're, like, usually, like, when I'm my most depressed, you're your most...
I've kind of on a roll, yeah.
You're kind of on a roll and vice versa.
And then vice versa, yeah. So, like, that's maybe convenient, or it's just, like, or maybe at different points where, like, we've actually both been depressed, we recognize when we need to kind of be there for the other person. So if you've been with this person for 3-ish years and you really do love him, separately from the fact that he treats you well, if you love him, then it's probably worth it to say, hey, like, I would say if he's not ambitious to you, ask him if he's happy. And if he's happy where he's at, like, genuinely, and you believe that he's happy, then maybe you can look at some more ultimatum kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because if he's, like, not ambitious, but you can
content.
tell he's not, like, happy, then that's like a sign that he maybe is ambitious. He's just depressed.
Very good.
I don't know, though.
I want to meet these people.
I want to meet them, too.
Give them a slap in the back of the head.
I want to play video games with your 25-year-old deadbeat boyfriend.
Next thing someone sent in. I want to be myself, but I don't know what I am. It's like I see all these things and I have all these ideas of what I want to be, but is it really me? This is real. This is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. The light shine.
Yeah, you deal with this all the time.
I deal with this all the time.
With your career and stuff.
With my career, like, I am constantly fighting. Like, it sounds so stupid, but I really am, like, constantly fighting an identity crisis. I mean, I feel like we're all going through identity crises all the time, right?
Yeah, but some people don't define it as an identity crisis. Like, if you're going, you might not, like that 25-year-old who doesn't have any ambition. He's probably going through an identity crisis.
But doesn't know it.
But he's not consciously like, I don't know who I am.
Yeah, something about me is I'm hyper aware of every identity crisis that maybe I'm over labeling my identity crisis is because I'm having multiple a day. Any, like, decision I have to make, I'm like, it's an identity
like,
crisis.
who am I?
Who am I? God. So I'm wondering, like, is this like a career thing? Because I have dealt with that a lot. Like, I constantly get these, like, big ideas of, like, oh my God, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And then, like, I go for it and then kind of, like, either stop or, like, realize, like, that's not actually, like, what I want at all. And they're usually all creative, though.
They're all career, too. It's not...
They're all career.
I think people lump too much of their identity into what they do for a living. It's like, who am I? Am I an actor? Am I a salesman? Am I a contractor? Am I X, Y, and Z? When it's like, I mean, that's maybe what you do, but, like, if you're really struggling to, like, be yourself, like, I guess take solace or concern out of the fact that you are, like, that, you know, like, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like, any anxiety you're feeling, like, maybe embrace that that's also you.
True. I mean, that's kind of a big pill to swallow, though.
But it's not a bad thing.
No.
Right?
Yeah. I deal with my career, but I also deal with it within my career, because my career is social media, making online content. And obviously, I don't really show my real self much online. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Let me start over. Let me start this part over.
You can start. Well, from my perspective, it's you are less worried about like to yourself who you are and more worried about how you're perceived.
How I'm perceived. That's it. Yeah. Yes, I deal with this with my career because my career is social media, making videos online, and I'm not really showing myself online, but I'm constantly like dealing with this battle of like, should I show myself or no, should I just stay in this character of like, because sometimes I'm like, God, I just kind of just want to like be myself. Like, I don't want to just like do this like whole shtick. But then I'm like, then anytime I try to show myself, I'm like, oh God. Like even doing this podcast is like, I'm sweating.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't like doing this either. I don't know. A lot of the times when I have what I self-define as an identity crisis, it's more of a concern about how I'm being perceived.
Yeah.
And once you let go of that, you feel a lot better.
Yeah. Like, who
cares? But again, I don't know.
Who cares?
Who cares?
What?
Honestly?
Who cares?
Who cares? Go do something awful. Get yourself on the news. Who cares?
That'll give you some...
Then everyone will perceive you.
That'll give you some identity.
That'll give you an identity. Do something insane.
No, but I would say just like try all these things. If you see all these things and have all these ideas of what you want to be, do them all. I mean, I feel like that's...
Even if they're awful.
I mean, just relating it back to TikTok, like I've always been on the internet. I've been on the internet since I was in middle school and like have always made internet videos, but they haven't all been like what I do now of what actually works. Like I tried so many different things before I like hit this like stride of like success on the internet, I guess. Like I tried, the Etsy shop, the music videos, the food reviews.
The Etsy shop, yeah. The food reviews actually took off though.
A little bit. The theater content, like, and I had to try all those things from over a span of so many years to actually find like what I felt like I could do consistently and what I enjoyed doing, what I loved doing, what I was good at. And yeah, so I think try it all. Do it all, baby.
Yeah. Because whatever you're doing is really you.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
True. Okay, moving on. I have a show crush on someone, but I am in the friend zone. It's driving me crazy because I feel like we'd be a great match. Help me. My biggest piece of advice is that you don't love them. So, it's a show crush. A show crush is a show crush. A show crush is a show crush.
Are you two a great fit, or are Tony and Maria a great fit?
Yeah.
That's what I need to know. Because Tony and Maria, turns out, not a great fit.
Not a great fit.
They died.
I think there is something very special about a show crush. But that's seriously all it is. Unless you're us.
Well, we didn't have a show crush.
No.
Because we met... Okay, well, we met doing a show together.
Two-person play. Iconic.
Yeah, it was a pretty iconic two-person play. But I was dating somebody else at the time, so we didn't have like a showmance or anything at all.
No.
But we started dating like after. So I would say if you think you'd be a great match, then there's no reason you couldn't be a great match with this person like after.
And there's also, but the thing is, there's something spicy about a show crush. It's like, okay, you're in the friend zone. Like Jack Kelly, he's like hot, like singing, like, ooh, that's hot. He's like a tenor, like, he's got like muscles.
He can sing an A.
He can sing an A, and he like doesn't like me, but you know he's flirting with her. I don't even know like gender wise, but like, you know, if this is like Jack Kelly and the girl like has a crush on him, like, you know he's flirting with her.
Yeah, I mean, he gives her something to believe in.
But I would say, like, the second he's, like, the show's over or whatever, like, you might not have the same sort of crush on him because he's not, like...
Or her.
Because they're not, like, showing off their amazing talent. Everyone's like, you're so good, and they're feeling on top of the world because they're
when they're just, like, auditioning.
But there's nothing sexier than a showmance. Like, if it does work out, like, I mean, just while the show is going on, like, even
like
just from...
in between scenes, sitting in the green room, like, next
like...
to someone, and you're, like, both in costume. Like, yeah, no, I get it.
It's the hottest thing ever.
No, I get it, and no matter what, don't stop doing that, because that feeling never goes away.
But even for the rest of the cast, it's sexy too. It's like, if there's two people that are like in the show and they're like talking or like they hooked up or something, it's like,
oh, there are like donuts in the green room the next day.
Woo,
everybody's like, who brought in the donuts?
Who brought in the donuts? Oh, and then when someone brings in donuts, but then they have to be like, guys, don't worry, I didn't hook up with anybody. I just wanted to bring donuts for you all, okay? That's happened so many times.
Your neck veins are sticking out. Like, I just wanted
to bring donuts for you all.
It's like, I don't want attention. I don't want attention.
I
don't want attention. I just want to bring donuts. And, oh my God. So when I was in White Christmas, or maybe it was Do Black Patent Leather Shoes Really Reflect Up. Either way, there was a guy in the cast who was like 70. Who, like, brought in donuts, like, the next morning because he, like, hooked up with, like, some bar floozy. No! Like, not even someone in the cast. Just because he, like, got laid the night before, he, like, brought in donuts to the green room.
And he wanted to tell his cast of 25-year-olds.
But he didn't want to, like, say he, like, left the donuts. And then, like, didn't say anything. He was just like...
Well, did he know? Like,
yes, everyone was like, Mark brought in donuts, and then somebody else like pried it out of him.
That's awesome. Go, Mark.
Don't.
You just said Mark.
Oh, I did. Yeah. Okay, his name is Mark.
Moving on.
A super nerdy guy asked me to the spring dance. Congrats. And I freaked out and said I have to think about it. My best friend stopped speaking to me. A lot of best friends, like, not talking to each other.
Sounds like they're not
after,
your best
like,
friends.
Sort of trivial things. Your best friend stopped talking to you because she thought that was lame and a mean answer. So now I've lost my best friend, and I've been avoiding the guy for over a week, and I don't know what to do. I'm super shy and nervous around boys and don't know what to talk about, so I kind of want to say no to him. But I also feel like I should say yes, so I can be a more, like, normal person. And either way, I'm scared to decide, and I'm scared to tell him, and my best friend is mad. So basically, I'm screwed. What should I do?
Your best friend, like, stopping speaking to you over that is crazy. That's crazy behavior.
I mean, most people
That was probably just, like, tip of the iceberg. Like, you were pissing her off.
It's pretty uncommon when someone refers to someone who they think is, like, their knight in shining armor as super nerdy. Like you said, a super nerdy guy asked me to the spring dance. And
That's
you
why
said,
I talk about you.
See, maybe you should go. I'm also not like...
No, you're not
super nerdy. Like, no. I like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. You can, like, place Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, but that, you know. Okay, but I'll also say I have to think about it is so awful. Like, you... And it seems like you recognize a little bit that you feel bad and you kind of panicked in the moment. And that's okay. But, like... Come clean to him about that, because you don't realize this, I'm sure, but when you say I have to think about it, you're assuming that they're willing to wait for you.
I know, and it was probably so vulnerable and hard, especially if he is the super nerdy guy. Maybe he had to really, like, work up courage to ask you out, and then you say, I have to think about it.
When I was in high school, like, all my friends had, like, girlfriends or whatever, and we're going to the homecoming dance. And so I was like, oh, well, I need to have a date to the homecoming dance. Obviously, that's what it's about. It's about going with someone on your arm. Mm-hmm. So I, like, asked a girl to the dance, like, a random girl. I didn't even, like, really, like her or anything. I just knew she didn't have a date, and she kind of, like, hung around our group. And she, like, said yes. And then, like, while we were walking to the homecoming dance in, like, our big group, she, like, pulled me aside and was like, hey, I kind of panicked when I said yes. I kind of don't really want to have a date tonight. This is on the way to the dance.
Were you crushed?
No, obviously not.
You just,
yeah, I mean, obviously.
You went and picked up another biddy. My freshman year of high school, I was asked to homecoming by 3 different suitors. And I said no to every single one. First one was a guy that was kind of like in just kind of like a different friend group. He was kind of like just scary to me. He was cute, but kind of scary to me. I don't know. And we hung out like one time, and then he was kind of a bad kid. Like, I don't. Bad boy. Kind of just like rough around the edges. Like, kind of just not in the. Just his friend group was a little rough around the edges. And I was so like straight edge. And like, he stole my agenda planner. I was like obsessed with my agenda planner also, like obsessed with my agenda planner. Kept it with me like a Bible. And he stole it from me and had it for a full 24 hours. And I was like looking for this agenda planner everywhere. And then he texted me and was like, hey, I found your agenda planner. Meet me in the hallway tomorrow morning. And he handed it to me. And then he was like, open it up. And I was like so happy to see my agenda planner. And then I opened it up. I opened it up and he had drew this like really like nice piece of art that said like, will you go to homecoming with me?
That's really nice.
It was very sweet.
You should have said yes.
I was like mad about the agenda planner being stolen, but
it's like not about the agenda planner.
I did say yes, and that's what's bad about it. I said yes, and then this is horrible, but I then told people that I was going with him, and everyone was like, you're going with him? Like he's like, ugh, like he's like gross, like, and I was like. And then that day, I remember he had texted me. He was like, you want to go swim in the river? And I was like,
you want to go swim in the river that day?
In the Cuyahoga River,
The Cuyahoga River caught on fire.
And so I was like, no, and also, I'm dumping you. We're not going to homecoming.
He was like, oh, I mean... That's on him, though. That's one leap too many.
Yeah.
Like, asking above your station, like, bold enough and you got the yes. Don't, like, then be like, oh, sick. That means she'd probably want to, like, roll in, like, dirt.
In the polluted river. Okay, like, I did swim in the river a lot, like, in middle school. I was kind of a hippie kid.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next one is questionable.
It's kind of a grand finale. There's a lot.
It's a grand finale. There is quite a lot to say.
So there's a lot here, but essentially here's the background. So this guy has worked at Applebee's for 30 years, and he has a girlfriend who has a daughter and is addicted to drugs. But while he's dating this other girl who he's unhappy with, there's this girl at work who he really, really does connect with and likes a lot. It's sort of he's Pam. It's like a Roy Jim situation, if you know The Office. He and this other girl, who also was in like a bad relationship, had agreed that if they were ever single, they would date. And they had been texting about it. And this guy's drug addict girlfriend went through his phone and saw these messages and got really, really mad at him. And he said he was going to break up with her, but he found out she had breast cancer. And so he didn't. He stayed with her through the breast cancer, and he helped her beat it. She beat the cancer, but as he put there, she beat the cancer, but she didn't beat the drugs. So he helped get her through the dark time, and now he's single. Now this bartender who he's friends with at work is named Becky. Becky is single now too, but because of the whole ordeal with the messages, they haven't really addressed the feelings they had for each other in the past. Mm-hmm. So he's asking if he should go for Becky now that they're both single.
So
I say you should totally go for Becky, dude. You've earned it.
You should go for Becky. You've earned it. You've earned every inch of Becky.
So what do you all think about that? What would you
guys do?
Any of you know Becky? Put in a good word.
Put in a good word, Becky.
Next time we're in Florida and we go into an Applebee's, let's see if he was working there.
Yeah. Becky. Oh, Becky.
Yeah, I specifically want Becky making my drinks, please. Thank you. I heard she's single.
Oh. Well, that's the last one.
Lots of advice. If we saved your life today, you're welcome.
Thanks for joining us. If you need advice on anything, please send it to me. It is in my link in my bio on my social media, and also linked in this podcast in the description. So please send me your juicy, your spicy, your good gossip, drama, things you need advice on, because I love hearing about it.
And if you need a shoulder to cry on, my phone number is...
Things are coming on my show, Hubs. Things are coming on my show. I love you.